Hello, this is James Cox with the Martial Arts Lifestyle, and we are on episode number 33 today. The word that I want to talk about that's very important in martial arts as well as in life, just like the podcast says, the Martial Arts Lifestyle, is loyalty. So loyalty is a very powerful word. It can be used as a positive, and obviously it can be abused as a negative. So loyalty is a strong feeling of support or allegiance, being faithful to commitments or obligations. You know, when I think loyal, I first kind of think of the dog, the whole stories of a loyal dog to its owner. It's almost sad at times because no matter how the dog may be treated or mistreated, it's still very loyal back to its original owner, typically. But anyway, in martial arts, it's about that loyal warrior spirit. So again, I've seen this used and abused in both sides of this, as well as other ways in life. But in martial arts, you're part of a team, so you should be loyal to your school. Your school, meaning your system, your style, your roots, heck, your colors, if you would, just like a sports team. Being loyal to your instructor, an instructor that has gone through all of the experience and sacrifices, that has, passed on priceless knowledge to you and just really has been committed and poured their heart and soul into the student. It's important to be loyal to that instructor. Now, this also goes both ways. It's important for the instructor to be loyal to the students, and that's just with integrity and morals and ethics, as well as good martial arts teaching. To me, that's part of that responsibility that is also loyalty. So when we see in martial arts a lot, sometimes it can be pressured. So I kind of talk about loyalty in the good as well as what can be the opposite. It can be pressured. I know personally, and this is all I've done for, near 4 decades now, man, is of course, my students are my students, and I don't like to share my students. I want to show my students my method. I want to pass on my knowledge eventually as they grow. That may be a better time for them to perhaps cross-train and go further. So what you'll see at times in martial arts, and this is more in big cities that are just full of martial arts schools. Man, there are cities where there are martial arts schools that are like convenience stores. They're on every corner, right? Especially when MMA really exploded. There's a lot of martial arts schools opening. There's also a lot of martial arts schools closing, but I call them school jumpers, right? So it's like bar hopping, but it's martial art hopping. Somebody will think that they're doing themselves a good service by training in a martial arts school for a couple of months, and then going to another martial arts school for a couple of months, and then joining 2 or 3 martial arts schools at the same time, and doing this school for Tuesday and Thursday, and going across town to this school for Monday and Wednesday, and whatever else like that. So when is this, in my opinion, my professional opinion, not loyal, and when is this actually just dangerous and confusing to the student? So I think school jumping, especially early on, is not a good thing, especially if it's similar to what you're getting from one school, because you don't want to go out, let's just use some common things and join a karate school. Maybe they teach predominantly taekwondo or Kempo, whatever, and then you go and you join another karate school that teaches basically the same style, the same system. So to me, that's not being loyal to one school. And why would you when they're basically teaching very similar, if not the same thing? Because nothing exactly is going to be the same anyway. Instructors are going to have their own personal preference. They're going to have their unique touches. And, you just don't want to be too confused with what you're doing. Now, cross-training, that's a different story. But it's still, I don't think that's for beginners, again, in my opinion. But as you advance and you cross-train, you go to one school, but then you maybe go to another school because it has something to offer that other one doesn't. Maybe you're doing predominantly striking at one location, kickboxing, Krav Maga, self-defense. You're striking, you're kicking and punching. But then you need to go to another school because you want to get your grappling. You're doing judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. So that's cross-training. That's a little bit different versus school jumping and doing too much at one time, where it just kind of becomes just really confusing. I still believe it's very important to stay loyal, to give back. Again, there's a two-way street there as well, but it's about the dedication. We should talk a lot about the 3 Ds, meaning dedication, discipline, and desire. This is important with everything, everything that you do. I think of Premier Martial Arts and, where we are with what we do with Premier, worldwide, man. And it is huge, and its growth is insane. And it's an amazing franchise of martial arts schools and fantastic school owners. And there's a little saying of bleed green. So using our colors of Premier, typically the green and the yellow colors. So bleed green. You see that someone is really involved in their martial arts school. They're very loyal to their school. When they're wearing those colors loud and proud, I mean, people are, making their hair green. We got Premier clothing and swag, from shoes to socks to pants to jackets to hats, you name it. So we are truly bleeding green, not only on the outside, but this is very valuable in you being loyal to the vision of that system or that school or that instructor's belief and faith of whatever they're trying to teach. We say that it's our vision to empower lives through martial arts. We are America's self-protection, personal development, and fitness experts with something for everyone. So it's important as the owner, the head instructor, to be loyal to that vision, to that cause, the purpose, the reason, the why. And we want to do that, and we want to have the follow through with it, to basically not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, to do what we say we do and back it up there, right? We had actually a speaker that we were at a martial arts convention, and it was one of our premier symposiums, and we had a keynote speaker. I forgot the guy's name, but something that really stuck with me was a presentation that he gave on it was a lot about branding, right? Being top of mind and brand and the power of brand. And of course, he brought up certain slideshows and logos of the most common ones. So it didn't take long if you saw the Nike logo or, the Coca-Cola logo, and on and on and on. Starbucks and on with these Walmart, McDonald's, these very popular logos. And they even compared it to all the tattoos that people are getting. So it was kind of like, is your brand loyal, faithful enough? Is it something that is tattoo worthy? Well, I actually have our Premier tattoo on my wrist, as well as a lot of their school owners did. So we felt loyal enough to actually get a tattoo permanently on our body of our logo. So something that is tattoo worthy, that takes a little bit of loyalty, right? To kind of go that far with something. So hopefully it's a good one. To be loyal is to be able to continue to grow, to know where you came from, your roots. I talk a lot about the heritage of martial arts and how important it is to know who showed you the way and who showed them the way and why. And how my instructor talked to me early on about staying connected to your lineage, your roots, your heritage, and to be able to build a legacy from there, but it's backed by that strong foundation. So it's always about, just like on the physical sense of our martial arts, it's about having a strong foundation first, those good basics, and then you build a structure, and then you flourish and advance everything from there, right? So if you know where you came from, you're loyal to that, that's like having that linked chain where everything will link back to the very beginning. It will advance and evolve, hopefully improve, modernize, whatever it may be, but it still stays solid to its core. And to that core is a good loyalty, is at least how I see that. Action speaks louder than words. Talk is cheap, right? Talk is cheap. Like I said, walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. We probably all have been in those situations where, we have people that will tell us to our face how loyal they are, but then maybe behind your back, it's a totally opposite thing, right? So I'd rather someone remain true behind my back versus to my face. I know I've had people try to get me into some gossip or some drama, as maybe they come and we have a mutual acquaintance and or friend or someone, and they'll start trying to drag in some negative talk about this guy or calling him a name or that he's this way. And man, if I don't feel that way, I'm not going to jump on their bandwagon and agree. So I'm going to stand loud and proud and be loyal to that person. If I have a friend, a family member, someone, and I truly believe in them, it's somebody that I like, I'm not going to allow somebody to just come up and start calling this person names. I'm not going to agree with them just because. So I'm going to stand firm to how loyal I am, even if they can't hear me, have their back, right? So loyalty is a lot about having their back. You know, do you have their six, right? Do you have their back and able to stand up for people, not just in front of them, but behind their back? These are important things. You know, when you're loyal to martial arts and you can cross that loyalty over to your relationships, you know, there's a lot of loyalty and faith, and then with the relationships and the chemistry, heck, from a husband and a wife to, you know, father to a child to, you know, employer to employee, and just being loyal to what you do and where you go and how you do it. These are important lessons. Just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the word that is pretty powerful, loyalty, and then kind of connect it with our martial arts. Because when you talk about that warrior spirit of martial arts, you know, we want to be loyal. We want to be faithful. And you should remember your instructor and who showed you the way. You should stay connected. And, you know, there's no reason you need to be loyal to that person. And then in return, they're loyal to you. I've seen it go too far. You know, I've seen it almost become like a cult type following where a leader has people follow them. But then what happened, I feel, is the person just becomes weak-minded. You know, so if you're loyal, but you're being pressured, think like peer pressure, you're being pressured to follow somebody, to do something that you really don't want to do. Well, that's not loyalty, man. That's just being controlled. That's being weak-minded, and you're probably holding yourself back. So you might question, you know, who are you loyal to and why, and who's loyal to you and why, and to just stop and kind of reflect and be grateful for the loyalty you have and the loyalty that others have for you. I feel this will go a long ways. It'll go a long ways in your martial arts training and in your life. That's what I have to say today, guys. I appreciate you following our podcast. We're episode number 33 right now. We have more great ones coming. Go back and listen to the past podcasts, as well as I always want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, James Cox Martial Arts. On YouTube, just this week, man, we've put some very good instructionals. We have some other videos coming out for kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, the fundamentals. The basics are the most important things. So just like in life, just like in martial arts, live it to your best and become the best version of yourself. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.